No, we'll get started. It's time 7:30. Welcome everyone. This is the BI online chapter Better Investing Educational Forum. This this is held every other month on the third Wednesday of the odd months. I'm sorry, still admitting people in, so bear with me if I get a little bit distracted every time I hear the ring.
Sam, if you want to add me as a host, I can keep an eye on that as well.
Sure. I don't know how to do that. Let me see. I'll make you co-host. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Very good. And look at all the folks. Hey, Mel, Steve, greetings. Very good.
Good evening.
So, yeah, good evening, everyone. So, what we thought for this month's online chapter discussion, the educational forum. I don't know if any of you have not joined. Welcome to online chapter, the largest chapter with almost 3,000 members across the country and outside of the country also. We have two model investment clubs. One is the Anki Model Invest Club. I see Atul and some of the other folks there join us once in Bakul. All these folks there join us on the Yankee Model Investment Club, but also we have an international model club. I think we have members from Canada and even China on that club. Mel is also a member of that club. But what we thought would present tonight, our chair of our online education committee, Chris McCarran, she is not available today. So I'm filling in for her, and hopefully we'll have some good discussions. What we decided was to present some of the investment stock recommendations or discussions we had at BINC. We have a ton of them, so just be patient and walk with us. And if anybody want to discuss anything, if they want to do an SSG, we can dive deep into those different elements as needed. Let me see. There you go. Again, this is Chris name, and the contact is online. The email address is contact@online.betterinvesting.net. So please join us. I'm going to stop my video, that way you won't be distracted. Yeah, please. Certainly we want to display this disclaimer before again, this is for educational purposes only. We are not recommending any purchase or sell of any stocks. Just we are here to educate and have a good discussion and have fun. So this is the agenda we followed. There are a couple of sponsors and presenters. I think it's good to take a look at them. We also, on Thursday night of the BINC, we had this Let's Talk Stock. I think, if I remember correct, 6+1, 7 people were there on the stage, and each of them, they gave, I think, 4 stocks they were interested in for us to take a look at. And then, of course, there was a roundtable that had few discussions of few stocks. David Gardner, he gave some good picks. We may want to look at it. David Gardner, for those of you who are not at BINC, he's the Motley Fool, one of the co-founders, and he was a very good speaker. We had a lot of good response for his speech. There was one, I forget who did this presentation, but somebody talked about rare earth metals. Um, Unfortunately, I could not attend any of these sessions because I was running around as a volunteer helping with the BINC. And then she also put some of the ideas that she got from just hearing people talk about this. So let's dive into this. There were two companies, NNN and KBSX. These two companies, their representatives were there and they made presentations. For those of you who know, NNN is a real estate investment company. They have a very successful model. They own all the buildings that operate, I know, McDonald's and all other several of those fast food places. So NNN owns them and leases them to all these restaurants and big shops, and it's a pretty interesting company. One of the things about that company is they have, I don't know, 26 years of continuous increasing dividends that they have been giving, if I understood correctly. I mean, it's crazy. But their price, and if you run that company through SSG, probably it's not going to be, you know, that promising, but it seems to be a good company. What else? KBSX. It's a, I think, um, any of you remember? I believe that may be a
It's the
Korean-based
golf
company.
clubs.
Yeah, it's a Korean-based company, if I understood correct, but or maybe Chinese-based company. But I think they manufacture clubs and golf equipment out of Taiwan. I think Taiwan-based company, and they had a good presentation too. Steve, Bob, any of you remember?
Yeah, they manufacture the shafts for many golf club salespeople, or companies like Callaway, and I can't think of the rest of them now. But so they provide the shaft, that part of the club, for many of the golf club
That's right.
sales. And I actually, I she's going to send me. I want a golf uh, towel. I got contacted by their representative, and I was hoping for the golf bag, but I didn't get it yet. Pretty new company, but they're they're growing, and we appreciate their support.
Yeah,
Coming to BINC and being a sponsor.
yeah. No, these two were the big companies that were sponsors. Uh, I'm looking for my program here somewhere. I just I just cleaned my desk, so I can't find it. Um, yeah, there were two other companies. Those are also good sponsors, and they made some good presentations. And again, it was, for those of you, I think, beginning we were talking about, there were 429 people attending the BINC, one of the largest in probably last 20 years or so, 15 years. And there were more than 125 first timers, probably half of them under the age of 50 or 60. So there was a lot of promise for the better investing on this one.
Also, a lot of young people.
Yes. Yes. Good point. So in the talk stock, the panel goes around and they talk about stocks. And one of the things, let me see if I can find and show you the panel from Thursday night. Yeah, this is the panel. Pat Conley, Mark Robertson. This is
Susie Artsberger.
Susie Artsman. Yeah. Of course, Ken Kavula in the middle.
Kim Butcher.
Kim Butcher. Betsy. What's Betsy's last name, Bob?
Wills. Betsy Wills.
Betsy Wills. And of course, Cy Lynch. That's the panel. As you can see in the background, there is a 7 and there's a 5, 75 years of better investing. So these folks recommended this different. Yes. Oh, hey Phil, can you please send a link to Kent Dijon? He needs a new link. Can you send him a link?
To register?
Yeah,
Okay.
he has to register and come back again. Yeah. Um, yeah. Texas Roadhouse. I don't know how many of you looked at it. It was one of the things, one of the items we looked at about 4 years ago when we did a class with Kent and Suzanne Coster, who gave us the what was the topic? It's called Beyond SSG. That's what we did. And then docs. Anybody, I mean, unmute yourself. Everybody can join in the conversation, no problem. Anybody have any of this in your portfolios? Docs, Doximetry, Swarmer. Adolfo, do you have any of this?
Nope.
Okay.
Our investment club, our model club here in the Heart of Illinois chapter owns Texas Roadhouse, and we have for quite a while.
Yeah, it's doing well. It did
Yeah.
well in the last few years.
And I own some Charles Schwab in my own personal account.
Excellent.
Well,
I'm very happy with both of them.
yeah.
Yes.
Lily, yeah, that's in my portfolio.
Okay.
I don't want to spend a lot of time, but there was a presentation at BINC on healthcare stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And the message was be careful with Lilly because there's a lot of competitors for the GPL-1 drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that was his perception. Although Lilly does more than just GPL-1 drugs.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But anyway,
This
anyway,
AVGO is a fan favorite with many of the better investing investors.
Sriram, this is Bakul. I own it.
Yeah. Very
I
good.
also own it, and yeah, it's doing great guns. I guess it's a chip stock, so it's riding high. I don't know if this is the time to put money in it.
Yeah, yeah. Another one, I own this Palomar. That's a good company. ISSC. I have not done. Has anybody done a SSG on this one? ISSC.
This was
Yeah.
one of the stock. I'm sorry. This was one of the stocks in Robin Ware's PERT discussion.
And yeah, PERT analysis class. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was it looked pretty good. I haven't, we did a rough SSG on it, but I have not followed up on it. Certainly, I think it's worth looking into it. I think it's defense related.
It is. Yes.
And it's probably had a pretty good rise, but certainly something to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, Schwab, we just talked about. EFPT, we actually have it in our Anki Model Investment Club. That's another company. Anybody? I didn't do a SSG on Solve. I don't even know anything about that company.
Sriram, this is Bakul. I own it.
Oh, yes. Tell me about the Solventum Corporation.
Yeah, so Solventum is a spin-off coming out of 3M. So 3M, has had a lot of litigation from the government specific to PFAS material.
Yeah.
And over the years, they had underinvested in their healthcare division.
Yep.
And so what they did was they spun out Solventum, the healthcare division, and I've been owning it ever since the first week of the spin.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah, I'm sure it could be that Solventum may have been recommended by Kim Butcher.
It was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
She
long
she
ago?
had conversation with me when I think a month or two after she asked me what new thing do you own, and I basically basically I said I own a 3M right now, but it's going to be I'm going to be selling at 3M and moving into Solventum.
Wow.
So I started with a 10% portfolio position. The nice thing about it is insider, the management owns about 15% of the company.
Yeah.
They also have recently an activist company that's twisting their arms to make it a little bit more efficient. So you never know what could happen after that.
Yeah. Hey, my entire career for the last 10 years has been built on PFAS
Oh,
remediation.
oh wow. Interesting.
So I know all about that. Yeah. Yes.
How long ago was that spinoff, Bakul?
I say 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah. April of 2024.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years ago.
What's their main product? Cool.
They
what?
they have like 3 or 4 business unit. One particular that I have an interest in is the healthcare information system. They call it HIS. And then they have a dental. They have a business unit for dental industry. And then a big chunk of their revenue is coming from med tech or medical products. So yeah, it's been doing pretty good because within 2 years they divested one company, and then at the same time they bought another company. And as part of that, they also, as you know, when spin-offs come out, their balance sheet are highly leveraged. But within 2 years, with their mergers and acquisition strategy, they also paid down debt, and they continue to do so. So the balance sheet is looking even better.
Oh, thanks.
Sure.
Excellent. I need to see if I can get Kent back on. Phil, can you please continue talking about this? Go through the list.
Yep. So I just pulled up. I wasn't too familiar with Solventum, and it does look like it was a spinoff of 3M. Just if people are not familiar with it, it looks like it's only been public about going on 2 years.
That's right.
Um, and it's relatively Value Line's classifying as it a mid cap. And they're increasing sales. They came out with a first year of really good earnings, which dipped, but they're on their way back up, it looks like. Does not pay a dividend yet.
No.
And they don't have 3 to 5 year projections on those just because the age of the sales and the earnings yet.
Yeah, they have a 75-year history under 3M, but that is not known.
As a division. Okay.
Yeah, as a division, they've had that history. And after the spinoff, only now we can see what's going on.
Anybody that's owned this or followed them under 3M, do you know approximately what percentage of the company Solventum made up of when they were part of 3M?
Small. It's very small.
Like less than 10 or 15%?
Oh yeah, definitely. 3M
Okay.
is a big conglomerate.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's so okay. Well, we've got a mixture here. Texas Roadhouse, they've been dealing with some issues with the beef industry and the price of beef. Lilly's a long-term medical stock. I don't currently own them, but I think they have a fairly good history with dividends, right? Looks like
Which one is this again?
it's under 1%. So, but its financial strength is pretty strong, A++. And interestingly enough, Value Line's rating them like a 17% grower on sales and 26% on earnings. So that's pretty positive. Broadcom, Schwab are the bigger companies. Anybody else have personal experience with any of the other ones that you want to mention?
Yeah, so Phil, this is Bakul. My Broadcom is 45% of the portfolio because it had a massive run up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Are they, again, I don't own them directly, but it sounds like they would be considered part of the same industry of NVIDIA?
Yeah. They're
Okay.
only semiconductors.
Yep. So the chips, that's yeah, NVIDIA's seen a similar growth with that. So it's I don't know. I think NVIDIA, did anybody hear what the result was tonight? Was NVIDIA was supposed to come out with their earnings for the quarter.
Well,
And they did really well with earnings, but the stock dropped a little.
Yeah.
Is that funny? Does anybody else find that really funny?
No, that seems to be the trend these days for almost all companies.
They do
Yeah.
phenomenal with the earnings, and then the stock, which what is it? It's been posting 52-week highs, and it's gonna fall tomorrow. It sounds like maybe.
It was down after market, so never
Yeah.
know. Never know what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these that have had a great run up, this is what's happening. And a couple of years ago when NVIDIA had earnings and revenue like this, of course, the stock jumped up really high, but it's like the market has become numb to that, to the good performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also sometimes we see some companies, they do worse than, anticipated, but still their stock goes up. I mean, So it's the opposite of what's happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it has to do with expectations. They meet expectations for sales and earnings.
Yeah,
And then the other thing is, what are their projections for the next year or two?
yeah,
Hmm.
And I think that's why we use a 5-year window. We don't worry about today's earnings or tomorrow earnings and their resultant stock price. We care about what happens 5 years down the path.
yeah,
Yeah, so Steve, if you have a spin-off that only has 2 years of the history, it's not going to be an SSG type of stock,
yep.
at least initially.
Yeah,
So
that makes it challenging, and that makes me. I'm a little bit surprised that Bakul says he owns this. That's kind of surprising because you like those, and I know you've dug into it deep, and I'm sure they must have uh, exceptional cash flows. So
yeah, they
uh,
do.
that's not surprising.
Well, and I like the concept of the first two that Sam brought up with NNN and KBSX, although I noticed that neither one is followed by value line, either the standard or the expanded survey.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I just want to really, Steve was talking about he had a wonderful display. He and Mark, they worked on this great historical artifacts they collected and displayed. You can't see in some of those display boxes behind there. There were some wonderful, wonderful historical information that Steve put together for BINC. Those guys who couldn't make it, you missed out a good one.
Matt
Very
Spielman
good,
actually
Steve.
was the genesis for this.
Matt Spielman, yeah,
Yeah, we talked about this at our Wednesday morning breakfast club, and
yeah,
we had memorabilia mostly from Phil Crocker. So
yes,
that kind of was the genesis of the whole project. And he said, "You
yeah.
need to do this," and then I said, "Well, maybe we." So it was fun. It was a good time, and I think we had a good time with it.
Excellent. No, I'll share all these pictures. I'm going through them and probably 2,000 pictures I clicked. So um, next, go to the next page. Yeah, Planet Labs. That was and Hermes is another company that I think Pat Donnelly recommended that. TSM, of course, we all know about it. Intuit. I need to tell you all a story about Intuit in our um, Yankee Model Investment Club. We bought this back in January. It was doing great, and our SSGs and all our analysis looked very good. And we bought it. Like 2 weeks after that, it fell down from 650 to almost less than 400.
Is
So now it's,
any of these companies that um, were thought to be exterminated by AI, by the anthropic work, co-work, they suffered. And you can name a lot of other stocks like ServiceNow.
yeah,
And since we're on that, our club, the IMIC, bought to it recently, and tonight they had great earnings. They had a great revenue. They had a very good outlook, and their stock
yeah.
dropped 10%. So
Hmm.
this is what we're living through at this point with chip stocks and the picks and shovels just grabbing the oxygen out of the rest of the market, I think.
Well, and to be fair, there's a couple ways to look at that, right? It's like I look at something like that where a company comes out, and I think Lowe's was the same way. They beat expectations. They came out with earnings, better than last year, year over year, and the stock went down. And it's like, being, better investing in investors and or contrarian investors, if that's a company we want to get into, that's a great time to get it a little bit on sale than what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should do if you feel comfortable with their story going forward out to 5 years,
Yeah.
and Intuit is I'm going to say accommodating the Anthropic and OpenAI models, or being subsumed. Anyway, they're coordinating with those companies. So it's not like they're doing their old thing and hoping that uh, this problem with the software companies is going to bypass them. So they're doing something about it. So yeah, Phil, it might be a good idea to maybe put more in there, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. Pop up.
Well, and I think, again, arguably, I think they've got some of the best software in the industry. If anybody's not familiar with them, between TurboTax and QuickBooks, targeted at the smaller companies or personal uh, individuals that want to file their own taxes.
Yep. There's lots of companies that are experiencing the same issue, and Adobe is another one that has. If you look at their SSGs, they're up straight and parallel, and they keep reporting good earnings. And AI is the great unknown, and I think that Adobe says, well, we're embracing AI, as I think Intuit's doing the same thing. So they have a footprint with AI as well. So I guess the proof is in the pudding. I'm pretty confident that that they will continue on, and this is a kind of a blip on the radar screen, but could be wrong. And Bakul's been studying the Golden West chapter has been researching a company that's in the Better Investing magazine, and I can't for the life of me, Bakul, think of the name. It's
Equifax.
Equifax. Thank you. We talked about that this morning, and I can't remember it, but it's the same. It's the same thing, up straight and parallel, but a dramatic fall in their share price, and during the last 6-8 months. So
Yeah, so
um,
what happened with them is 2017 they had a cybersecurity hack. So given that data breach, they had some litigation hangover. They've had some payouts to the government. They've had in the ensuing years, even as late as 2022 or something like that, they had a payout or settlement with consumers, class action litigation. And I think once all that stuff is past them, maybe they ready to go grow again. Uh, so
yeah, I'm optimistic about that one too. I don't own that one personally. Um, and we talked about FICO, which is a company that feeds data and information to all those financial companies that give us our uh, our
Credit
loan.
ratings.
Yeah, our credit ratings. Thank you. Um, so I think all of those are kind of in the same kind of boat, and I just can't imagine that AI can get established that quickly to take all those companies, take their earnings from them. I just don't see it happening, at least not soon. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, there are so many changes that are happening. Yes, I don't know how they will be able to, keep
yeah,
up with all the. I mean, it'll be a while before things settle down, but I think it's going to happen within the next year or two. We will see major changes in the whole, not only these companies, but also in the general public. Yeah. Anything else? Yes. BlackBerry was also discussed.
You're not
Um,
picking on
That,
BlackBerry, are you?
that wasn't a joke.
yeah, it was not a joke, but um,
Uh, There was actually an article in the Wall Street Journal following BINC about the subsidiary that they have. I can't remember, SQL or whatever it is, but they have the patent on the software in your car, the safety features that give you the nudge, for example, if you're too close to a yellow or white line, and moderate your distance from the car and that sort of thing. So yeah, forget about the actual BlackBerry itself. And if you look at their stock, it went up, and I think it went up as soon as it hit the Wall Street Journal. I think people read it and said, "Hey, this is very interesting." And if you looked at the stock, it went up, and I don't know what it's doing right now. But
$6.20 today.
Well, pardon me?
$6.20 today.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Where it came. This was a Mark Robertson stock, by the way.
Yeah. 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 Interesting. But it was down to $2 for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, Toast. Did anybody look at Toast?
Toast. Just looking at the value line on BlackBerry, and it's like I'd struggle to try and make that one look good on an SSG though.
Yeah. This Toast is a cloud-based digital technology platform for the restaurant industry. So that seems to be a good recommendation from them. Then they continued with Microsoft and Infosys and BMI. BMI is another company. It's part of our Yankee Model Investment Club portfolio.
The one drug stock on the previous slide was, I think they have, I'm trying to remember the TG Therapeutics.
Not United Therapeutics.
No, they seem to have I'll think of it. It's skipping my mind. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Sorry.
It's TG Therapeutics.
Yeah.
They have the MS drug.
Yes, muscular dystrophy.
No, muscular sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis, yes.
Multiple sclerosis, that's it.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Buckle, what did you say? You said something.
No, I just said was the therapeutics company, TGTX. Its numbers are really good also. I mean, they've got the first thing I look at is return on assets, which is very typical of companies that's managed well. So it's 42%. And, the return on invested capital is 34%, and the margins are very healthy.
Okay.
And profit margin is like 65%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's something to look at.
Yeah, and if they're the first mover, if they're like the first mover on multiple sclerosis, that's kind of one of the motley fool, I guess, things you look at. If they're first out and there's a big demand, they don't care about price or earnings at that point. They jump on it. But anyway, it's that particular company stuck in my mind as you're going through here.
So David Gardner in his presentation gave all these 8 of this as his picks.
Yeah, rule breakers.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
And his point was, and I think he mentioned Intuitive Surgery, Amazon, and actually NVIDIA, that Motley Fool hopped on those stocks after they were already blistering hot. And he said that, these stocks probably would not have, I don't know if he said this, but you probably would not buy the stock. If you did an SSG, it would be overpriced. But if you meet 6 of this criteria, and one of them is first mover and big demand, you hop on it because it's going to be going up and increasing over a long period of time. I think that's what I took away from that. And I guess also the feeling that maybe in all of our portfolios, maybe we need to block out a section to try perhaps some of these.
Yeah, I think that when it's been 25 years ago, our model club, it was not a model club at the time, but we kept watching Microsoft, and we could never buy it because it was always overpriced, overvalued year after year after year. And I think that's one of those rule breaker stocks that, we should have, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, bought shares, even though they were overvalued. They've been overvalued their entire career almost as a company, and not so much now because they're more established and we use that PE multiple as a kind of a guide to to make good buy companies that are reasonably priced, and I think that's what David Gardner's basically said. They're kind of rule breakers. They break the rules. They've got a product or service that will be there and keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, and the market says we'll pay extra for it.
Consistently, right. And yeah, a couple of thoughts. There, some very successful stocks over time. Nvidia is one of them. Costco is another one, where they're very difficult to get into a buy zone. But at the same time, one of the other founding principles of better investing was dollar cost averaging. So if you really, really like a stock,
Yeah.
in any given year, that prices fluctuates. So, do what you can when there is a small pullback, if anything, pull up some shares and add to it over time.
Yeah.
Good point.
I have the SSG pulled up on on Intuitive Surgical, and if it's a rule breaker, I mean, it's got a lot of good qualities that will make one think when they're making that investment. They've got a Morningstar Health grade of A, and they've got their profit margin is 33%, and they have no debt. A lot of qualities that we like to see, but again, their PE might be a little bit point to an overvalued situation. Its PE is 55, and we like to see PEs lower than that, but in these rule breaker companies, you may not see that for another forever, and it may be when at a different stage in their company's life cycle.
Yeah.
Well, Cole knows I'm a dividend investor. I like my dividends, and they don't pay dividend, at least not yet. But that may not stop me from putting some of those dividend dollars that are coming in into one of these non-dividend paying companies like Intuitive Surgical.
Yeah.
Well, and even with the some of the bigger companies, Nvidia or Microsoft, they don't pay they don't have a very large yield. But again, over time, it's a great stock to be in.
Yep. And Mark and Ken talked about the change in what companies do. Instead of paying out dividends, they take the cash and they may buy back shares instead. It's kind of a trend, and dividends are not what they used to be. We still look for them in those non-growth companies like Shell Oil or some of the other, well, like 3M. 3M, is not, and not that I've looked at it recently, but they're pretty much an established company that doesn't grow. They're huge, such a huge, and companies like Boeing, that's what they have to offer to investors. They don't have the growth the BI people like to see.
Yeah. Anybody looked at any of these rare earth mineral companies, rare earth metals companies?
I think
There's-
this is probably what Betsy Wills brought. Is that correct? She's kind of the Colorado-based lady who's looks
Yeah,
at
I
these
think so.
small
Again, I did
companies.
not attend in those sessions.
Yeah, I did not either. But that's a big list.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think any of them they bit. I don't know. Huh. So what I did is I used AI to search the top 3 companies in this. Maybe somebody do some SSGs on this. My prompt was, what are the top 3 rare earth mineral companies that would be reasonable for a better investing SSG review? And the 3 companies that came are MP Materials, which is at the top.
Okay.
And it's not in here. It's Linus, LYNAS Rare Earth is another company. The ticker symbol is LYC, I believe. Which is the stock exchange ASX? Maybe Australian stock exchange. And then the third one is this one, USAR. Yeah, consider doing an SSG for these 2 and see what you get.
Yeah, I think the U.S. government is putting in a lot of money into MP and I think USAR also.
Okay. Yeah.
And when that came out, that news came out, these stocks, MP in particular, just jumped up dramatically.
Of course. Mm.
Yeah. And by the way, to get back to Motley Fool, he talked about Intel. Intel was given up for basically dead here, even a year ago?
Yeah.
And when the government took a 10% stake in it, I guess Motley Fool bought it, okay? Because their thinking was, look, this company is not going to fail.
Yeah.
It cannot fail, okay? And then if you've seen recently what's happened, money is now poured in from Google and from, I believe, Apple to make chips for those companies. So a little divergent, but I guess the commonality there is that the U.S. government put, their owners, and they'll see it through.
Yeah. No, since last 3 months or so, it skyrocketed.
I think
Went
that
from like
also either SpaceX or Tesla, Elon Musk's, companies. I think they bought some technology from Intel, or they've included Intel in some of their chip making, but I can't remember the details on that. But I think so.
Well, I think you're right, Steve. I remember that for their big their mega data center in Louisiana. Yeah, they're counting on Intel to make chips for that big facility.
Yeah, or at least their technology for something. But yeah, I have a story about Intel. I kind of I don't know, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. My son was talking about putting money in Tesla, and I talked him out of it. I said, Tesla doesn't have earnings yet. I would stay away from that. Why don't you invest in something that's got steady earnings? And so I'm sent him to Intel, and he bought Intel. And of course, we all know the history. But here in the last 6 months, he's come back and said, "Well, I'm going to get rid of Intel now because it's made me a bunch of money, and not like he probably could have made with Tesla, of course. But so I have to stay clear of suggesting that you buy Intel to anybody. Hey, I've got that MP materials pulled up in the SSG, and it doesn't have positive earnings yet. So, us BI people are kind of probably steer away from that. Definitely, I think most of these companies are going to be non-core, companies within a portfolio. So you don't want to put your rent money on any of these, probably.
True.
Although it does look like their projections on sales from the March 26 value line is 36% annually, and
Yeah.
they're projected to make positive earnings this year.
Yeah. Yep.
If that holds true.
They're edging close
Yeah.
or closer.
Yeah.
So
I think they're also building a factory to produce these magnets. So it's not only just mining and refining. I believe they're making the magnets that right now we're dependent on China for. So, a lot of good is going to come out of this company, I think.
Mm. Very good. They continued with a few more here. Again, I did not get a chance to look at any of these companies in detail, but
Let's see, SMR, that's basically light water reactor technology, just a smaller version of current nuclear power plants, and probably will be situated at a power plant rather than at a data center. Oklo's reactor is I don't want to get too wound up about this, but they're using molten salt. The idea is to have these small modular reactors at a data center. Okay. The trouble with molten salt is this technology was tried at the dawn of the nuclear age, and they abandoned it. It had too many problems. So maybe Oklo has found something better. The current energy secretary was the head of the board of directors of Oklo before he got his position. And it's being regulated under the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, sort of like a research reactor. So they're not doing the full scope, from what I've read. So I have reservations personally about Oklo.
Yeah. Yeah. No, again, there are so many companies.
Again, probably not a place for your rent money.
Yeah.
In either case, these aren't going to come online, maybe for the next, I'm not going to say a decade, certainly maybe sometime in the next 5 years. Although they are, I think they're doing something in Tennessee, putting up one of these small nuclear reactors.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the details on that, but it's certainly something worth pursuing. But it's just kind of interesting the way at least Oklo has proceeded to where they are.
Yeah. And then some of the ones that the overheard conversations, I think these are some of those things. And then it's a client list that could be a good place to look at. Yeah, some
What I
book.
heard, I'm just going to say, what I heard from just talking to people is manifest investing. That they have a lot of stocks that might not be directly related to the AI juggernaut that's going on now. I have not looked into it, but that's one of the things that I intend to look at, and because I heard it so much at BINC. And what else on this regard? Yes, Robin Ware presented her presentation was how to use the BI stock screener.
Yeah.
And in my discussions with people, many of them said, "Hey, why don't you do the BI screener to try to find good stocks with good earnings and that sort of thing." So that stood out in my mind. What else was recommended? Again, by Robin Ware. If you have an idea for a stock and you're looking for information, she recommended looking at the first cuts, see if anybody's done a first cut on Better Investing. The Ticker Talk, 5 and 5.
Yeah.
And a lot of those stocks that I looked at on the 5 and 5, they look good from the rear view mirror. I always have had little doubts about some of them going forward. So I haven't generally dived into any of them, but still there's some sources. Let's see, what else is there that's not on here? The recommendations in the Better Investing magazine. There's another biotech company on the latest issue. Can't remember, neuroscience or neuro something or other. And my son belongs to the Pittsburgh Model Club. Okay, and they bought that one, and that's one of their rituals. Each month they'll take the latest issue of Better Investing, and basically they do the stock analysis on the two stocks that are there, the featured one and then the undervalued ones. And they bought it. Yeah, they bought it. So a lot of there's just so much information out there. It's hard to get your arms around it all. But still, there are places you can look without having to go and the Broadcom wave or the NVIDIA wave.
Because no, I think that's an excellent point, Mel. I think if you follow on some of our conversations and presentations, there's a lot of information out there. We're almost close to end of our presentation. Anybody who wants to talk, unmute yourself and ask questions or say something about
Sriram,
yourself. Yeah.
I put something in the chat box. It's a link, and it's something that I don't know how long it's been available.
Yeah.
And I don't, Bob Hool was in on the call earlier, but I think he's gone. I think he probably had something to do with this. But if you go to this link, it is, unfortunately, right now, it's only available for volunteers. In other words, other folks can't get into this
Yeah.
area, but it's fabulous. It lists all the upcoming events across the country that the chapters are offering, and it lists them. I mean, there's probably hundreds of them, and this one might be included. I'm not real sure. I think it probably is. Yeah, there you go. And if you scroll down, um, you know, some of the ones that are recurring are up at the top, but then there's events, you know, all the way up and down. Now, maybe regular BI members can't access this, but certainly we can, as directors or volunteers, we can, you know, we can share these events with other folks or make them aware of them. So,
Yeah.
and there's Bob Cool's Friday nights in May, that's upcoming, and they actually have that. The last one is going to be this coming Friday, and there's my Heart of Illinois Wednesday morning breakfast club. That's there. That's a recurring one also, and then the my iClub webinar series from iClub Central is there as well. It's but there, you know, there's tons of them, and um, from all across the country. Northern Lights, Alaska chapter, Rocky Mountain chapter,
Yeah.
Sacramento. So this is a good link. I would encourage everybody to share it with all your volunteers in your chapter or your chapter directors and
Yeah.
officers.
That's
And
how I logged in right now, is from this list. And
very good.
it
Welcome.
comes right up. I didn't have to log in or anything. I
Yeah.
used the URL from this morning from the coffee.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Well, Bob Tesh, good to see you in. And I was worried that we kind of got away from us a little bit, but we'll promote this feature here every week, I think. So
Yes.
really a handy thing. We've been asking for this for a long time. And then all of a sudden I found it, and it was, you know, Bob Hool probably has more information on when when they were able to make this happen. And I don't know that, maybe that's not true. And maybe it's Susie Artsberger that's her work behind the scenes, or someone anyway. This is really a fabulous thing. Now I added an event for our chapter this morning, and I don't know that it's here yet. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in our May model club, and let's see if it's on.
Did you say in May?
Yes,
What day?
or I'm sorry, June. It'll be June. Let me see if it's here. I think it's June the 15th. See if it's popped in there yet. I don't know whether it crosses over readily or if it takes a few days.
Was that the Prairie Investment Club?
That's it.
You passed it.
I passed it.
Yeah, it was. I saw it. You just scrolled so far. There you go,
Okay.
right there.
Whoop.
Excellent. Very good, everyone. I think at this point, anybody else have any questions, comments?
No, more meetings tomorrow.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Good night, and
Okay.
thank you for joining. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Sriram. Good
Good
job.
night,
Thanks.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, I